Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners, Gold Partners, Interface. We are based in the UK and have offices in the US and Dubai, and we provide all pre-sale support, so a demo and discussion about the different editions of Bitrix. We provide a full implementation service including customization, training, and we provide telephone support as well. With me, I've got our support manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi there, so we're going to be here for the next hour and we can answer any questions that you've got on Bitrix24. So whether you use the cloud version of Bitrix or the on-premise version, then we'll have both systems open on the screen and we can like I say, answer any questions. So take it as an hour of free support. And if you do have questions throughout the week, do send them over to sales@intraface.com and then we can start each session usually with those questions. So like I say, please do put them in the box whilst we...
Yeah. I've got a question here. So, can I get a trial of Bitrix24 self-hosted? So, you can. If you go to Bitrix24, let's have a look. See if we can find it. If you go to the Bitrix24 website, if you go to pricing, I think, and then click to on-premise, and let's have a look. No, not too sure where it is. So maybe we'll try and find that and come back to it. But you can download Bitrix24 on-premise edition, and you can get a trial license for 30 days.
Yeah, I think if you're using something like Linux or an AWS, then if you install the environment here, follow the steps, and then at the start of installing Bitrix, it will ask you if you want to install a demo or if you've got a license. Then it will, if you select demo, and then essentially it will give you a 30-day free trial to use the on-premise version. So
we would strongly recommend that you contact a partner about arranging a trial. Bitrix is the self-hosted edition is a very big product, so you can install it, download and install it relatively straightforward to do that. But actually getting it working the way you want it to work is going to take you more time if you haven't got experience. So I would contact a partner, contact ourselves. We'll ask you what it is that you want to evaluate, specifically what you want to evaluate, what you want it to do, what system it's replacing, and we'll set up a trial for you that demonstrates that particular feature that you're features that you're looking for, so that you can do a proper evaluation. So I think in our experience, people who just download and install the software without any sort of support during that evaluation period tend to have problems getting it to do what they want it to do. I mean, similarly, what we would normally do is we would find out what it is you're looking to evaluate. We would set it up for you on our demo system and then present that to you as a solution. It's probably the best way. It's probably actually better than having a trial yourself, because we'll show you exactly how that solution will work for the requirements you have. So you can download from that web page. You could contact a partner. We would provide a limited time trial, if you really needed to get your hands on a copy of it to test something. That's generally free of charge, although we do supported evaluations which we charge for. So which again we would recommend that you get support during an evaluation. So
I had something come through, and it's not really a question really. It was just saying, can you just show us one of the new features on Bitrix24? and it's a feature that's been requested quite a lot, and it's with regards to the task side of Bitrix. And what they have introduced is the ability to now have a calendar option within the tasks module itself. And the calendar module within here allows you to display task deadlines. So you can see here we have Bitrix installation, it has a deadline of 7 p.m. Click onto it and you'll be able to see that on the right hand side here. So it now allows you to have a dedicated calendar for all your tasks. It keeps it then this is then separate to your calendar, your own personal calendar and your work calendar. So this is a very useful feature. And then what they've also introduced is the ability to view a deadline filter as such. So we have a Kanban now for your deadline. And tasks are automatically placed in those stages. So we have overdue, which essentially means that the task has passed its deadline. We have due today if the deadline was today, and so on and so forth. So this is a really useful tool to make sure that you keep on track of all your tasks. And then finally, another great feature that has been introduced in tasks recently is the ability to add multiple checklists. And not only can you now add multiple checklists, so if we said design logo, for example, what we can do here is that we can actually add a participant who is, so you can see there, and then and so on and so forth. So what this allows you to do is tag people into checklist items. They will get notified. They will be able to see that they are, there you go. And not only can you just add one checklist item, you can also add a second checklist. So it has expanded on the tool that we originally had with checklists. We now have the ability to create multiple checklists, tag people in them, and also associate tag files into there, and we can style it up a little bit more.
Yeah, you can make them subtasks, can't you? I think like this, and what else can you do? Tag them as important. Yeah, a couple of different tools.
And if you were to, let's just add this task on here, just to see what they look like, because it also shows you, I think on here, also shows you the progress. So if I was to check this one here, you can see it's 1 out of 1, and then closes it down. So it is a much more powerful tool. Checklists are really useful, and they're also now, for those of you that use the business process side of Bitrix, you can now add checklist items in those task action blocks as well. So you can create tasks and their checklists automatically using the automation rules.
Okay, how do I synchronize Bitrix24 with my local drive? So every user has their own. Let's go into this one so I know where things are. I think every user has their own drive called Drive in the menu on the left-hand side, and this will give you access to all the documents that you're storing personally, and then also all the drives that are associated with work groups that you're members of. So this is a work group drive, and this is a work group drive. So any documents you have in your drive will sync, if you're using the desktop app, will sync with a folder on your local machine. So they'll automatically, as and when they're added and changed, they'll automatically sync with that folder. You can usually get a link, say up in your sort of toolbar up here, which will take you straight to that local drive. So you can access those documents locally if you prefer. Obviously, if you need to edit a document, you need to access it locally because Bitrix doesn't have a built-in tool for editing documents. So you can access those documents locally, you can edit them, and then when you click save, it will update a revised version of that. You get to see a revision history, so you can see who's modified it and the date they've modified it, and you can then download or restore an older version of that document. So it will save every time a document's synced, and that's not just you. Obviously, if there's more people accessing that document locally and editing it, saving new versions, it will keep creating new versions for you. So essentially, everything that's in your My Drive will sync. So anything you add directly to your My Drive will sync, and then any work groups that you belong to, provided you have them synced to your My Drive. So let's have a look in some work groups. And let's go into a different work group. And go into the drive and connect to drive. So this says connect to drive, so that means it's not yet connected. I can click on connect and it will connect to my drive. That's now connected to my drive, and so the documents, any documents that I put in this drive, connect to my drive and so sync to my local folder. The reason why we've got this connect to drive, you can click on it and disconnect. If you've got a work group with a large number of documents, that's going to take time to sync. It's going to take up space on your local machine. You as an individual can choose to disconnect that, and if they're not needed for editing locally. So that's it. It's how you synchronize with your local drive. Very straightforward. It allows you to then edit documents. I can't open documents inside Bitrix. You can open a preview, but you can't open them. You need an external tool to open and edit documents.
I've just got a question while you're on there. Just go, how does the workflow on drives work? Specifically for files deleted and data files, and date files were deleted.
Files deleted and date files were deleted. Let's have a look.
How can I use this as an A list, for example? I'm not sure what that point means.
I don't know. I mean, we have a recycle bin, and I can see this document was deleted on this date. You've got a filter up here, so let's see what fields are available. Created on, modified, deleted on. So I could go deleted on and search a date, and then find all documents that are deleted on a particular date. But in terms of workflows, you do have workflows on documents, business processes, and these are the standard processes that are available. You can make your own or edit these. Standard sort of processes are things like, they're generally approval processes, the standard processes. This one allows me to select, let's say, my immediate line manager, and then a head of department or something. It's two-stage approval, so it will firstly send on a link to this user asking for approval. If they approve it, sends it on to the next person. So that's an example of a workflow. But you know, what was the question specifically? How does the workflow on drives work specifically for files deleted and date files were deleted? How can you use this for a list? A list, for example. Use this a list, for example. Not too sure what that last bit means, but
I mean, you
can create workflows. So if you go into,
if you were using a list, for example, I don't know if that's what it's referring to, but if you were using a list in a work group, you could upload a document to a drive via a list. But
yeah, I mean, if you go into the settings in any drive, go to business processes, you can access the business processes, create a new one here, or access the existing ones and edit those. So this is the one we just ran, which is a two-stage approval. So first stage is here. If it's rejected, an email is sent out and the system changes it to sent for revision in this case, and the process ends. If it's approved at this first stage, then it goes to a second stage, and similar things happen down here. So you can edit these processes, so particularly like the content of the email, you know, what it says, you can edit those fairly easily, and add additional functionality into it by using these action blocks on the right hand side. So, can I integrate more than one mailbox into Bitrix24? If you've got a cloud edition, then each user adds their own mailbox. So you go into your mail, this one's already set up, and you add it on this page. It'll give you some options for different providers. And oh, you can create a new one. Okay, so you can actually create more than one. Okay, so it looks like you can create as many as you want. So
it's quite common, isn't it, for somebody to have set up their own personal email and then maybe have a sales email in there as well.
Yeah.
I think there may be some restrictions on the free account. You can't connect your mail on the free account. You would need a commercial package, and then I do believe the lowest commercial package will have a limited amount of mail you can connect.
Yeah. This is something you need to check. Integrate CRM integration, link to CRM. So tick that if you want to sync emails into contacts in the CRM. And then some things you might want to consider: create lead for incoming messages with new email address. So if the email address doesn't exist against an existing contact, this will create a new lead. That can be useful, can be annoying, depending on how you operate, how your business works. Yeah, so there's different options there that you can tick and select. So the answer is yes, you can create, integrate more than one mailbox into there. Similar question here, can I connect multiple SIP providers? So SIP is telephony thing, so you can connect more than one. So if you've got a number with a current telephone provider and you want to receive those telephone calls inside Bitrix, then you can use the SIP connector to integrate that number into Bitrix, so you can make and receive calls in Bitrix using that number, and you can do that with more than one. The options you've got are to use this SIP connector here. It's $49 a month. You can evaluate it for free for 60 minutes. We also integrate with free PBX. So if you have free PBX or you're open to changing the PBX system, you have two system called free PBX, cloud-based system, so there's no hardware, we can change it over for you. Then we can do a direct integration with Bitrix. Tends to be can be more reliable, better service. That's again $49 a month. There's a little bit of a setup charge as well. But you can connect more than one. There's lots of different options about how you do it. Different ways of setting that up. So if you want to get in touch, we could go through those, talk through those with you. Put our contact details up. If you want to get in touch, post your questions in the chat window. If you have any questions, we've got another question that came in earlier.
Can I set up multiple groups in the IVR menu? I think you can. If you've got multiple numbers, you will be able to have an IVR menu per number. You wouldn't set up multiple IVR menus for one number. I would have.
Multiple groups for the IVR menu. I'm not too sure. Yeah. So IVR is the ability to be able to for a user to be able to press a button, a number. Once they've got through to you, and it will redirect, your choice really, it will redirect you to generally the options. What are the options? Forward to an employee, forward to a different queue, leave voice, forward to a voicemail. Yeah, so the different options are essentially around forwarding to different people. So automatically, of course. Forward 1 for sales, press 1 for sales, press 2 for accounts, that sort of thing. I'm looking for a self-hosted edition. Can I set my server in 2 different locations, one as primary and a backup in a different location? So, so you could yeah, I mean, you can do this. I mean, you do this on the server itself. So when you rent server space, if you're renting a cloud instance, I mean, generally, if you're renting server space from Google or Amazon, then you can enable backups on that instance, and the data is distributed into a number of different locations. So really, they do it all for you. So it's not necessary if you wanted to do it yourself. I guess you can be configured. I'm not an expert. Configured to have a separate server, and you copy the files to a separate server. But I don't think it's at all necessary if you're using one of the main providers. We do get asked a lot if we can create, we can have two systems running at the same time. So if one goes down, then we can automatically or quickly switch to a backup system, so that the data, you don't lose any time at all with the system. That's possible. We've done that for businesses. It's not necessarily something you configure in Bitrix, something you do on the server side of it. But yeah, I mean, it can be done. Something referred to as redundancy can be done. But I don't think, generally when we talk to businesses about this, if you're using something like Google or Amazon, the downtime is virtually non-existent. So the work involved in doing that, having those two instances running, quite a considerable amount of work. Is it necessary, considering that the likelihood of any downtime is very slim? If your system goes down, when we're managing it, we have backups. We can restore a backup usually within an hour or two. So the chance of it going down are remote, and you're going to get the system back up and running in a couple of hours. So generally, you don't really need to have two systems, live systems, running at the same time, I would suggest. Can be done. Okay. Can Bitrix24 work as a solution for law firms? It can. Let's see if we can access this system here. Oops. So we have a customized version of Bitrix, which we sell to law firms. Probably applies for sort of any firm that sells services and wants to book time by the minute. Really, essentially, so law firms do that, accountants do that, and it has a few different tools in here. So, firstly, some of the things are renamed. So that one's called clients. So I've got a list of my clients in here. If I go into a client record, it looks a little bit different, slimmed down really. I can see time tracking on that client, time posted to that client, and I can see any cases that are associated with that client. I can open those cases from this page. Let's just have a look at some of the ones that maybe got some more looking for a task. So okay, so this is a case or a matter, and the home page of this group are tasks. So I can see all the tasks and time spent on those tasks, times booked to those individual tasks. What this system does is anytime you add time to a task, it rounds it up to the next 6 minutes, which tends to be the way that law firms want to work. You can also book in chargeable and non-chargeable time. So you can require all fee earners to book in, to record all their time, but obviously, just booking time that they're going to bill to a client as chargeable time. So I can start the clock on that, pause and stop, and it will record all those instances. The other thing you can do with this, also I can access the client from this group here. So this is the case or the matter, and I can click on there, quickly access the client, give them a call from this page, or just stop that. Give them a call from this page, email them, of course, from here and everything. So it's all tied together. The cases are tied together with the client record. The other thing that you can do is I can add time here. So if I get a phone call from a client, instead of spending time whilst they're on hold trying to find the case in the system, I can start the clock. I can pause and then finish that call when I put the phone down. And then what we need to do is go into our time tracking page, and this page gives me every single time I've added time to anything. It's listed on this page, so you can use the filter to find things. But this is the one that we've just added. So it says it's 6 minutes, so it rounds everything up to 6 minutes. It's just done just now. It's done by this user. It's not associated with a task at all because I haven't done that. So I can do that on this page by selecting which task I want to select, and then it will book it onto that particular case. So it's customized solution for law firms, which we have available as a module that you can buy from us. So there's quite a lot of the functionality, quite a lot of the features that you find in Bitrix we've taken out because they're not relevant, generally useful for law firms. So it's specifically for law firms. I say probably can be used by businesses like accountants as well. Yep. Have you got any more questions? No? So, not got a lot of questions today come in. Had a few come in the last couple of days, but no more live today. So if we haven't got any more questions, I think we'll have to close. But if you want to, we do the same thing every week and do it for pretty much as long as you send questions in. So if you subscribe to us on Interface and to Bitrix24, we can we'll send notification when we go live, and then also we do webinars on a Monday, which you can register on Bitrix24.com. If you go down to the bottom of the home page, you can register for webinars there. They're on specific subjects covering HR, CRM, project management, sites, telephony, self-hosted, business processes. But I guess we'll finish it for now. Hope to see you next time.